Okay. Let me just understand the small concept of petty cash before we move into the next chapter, rectification of errors. What do you mean by petty cash? Petty means what? Small. Now, see, let's look into the materiality concept. What does materiality concept say?
All those transactions which are significant will be recorded.
No. Recording will happen. Disclosure is all the transactions which have economic effect, or we say significant economic effect, should be properly disclosed, right? Now, what is petty cash? Petty cash are my smaller expenses. Now, how does petty cash work in a company? Now, what happens is generally the head cashier or the finance manager will transfer some money to a cashier to say, you know what, for 1 rupee, 2 rupees and all, don't bring the voucher, rather you only approve. If it is, let's say, something above 5,000, only then bring it to me. Anything less than 5,000 rupees. For some companies, less than 1,000 rupees. For some companies, less than 500. You as a cashier, I will give you monthly some cash. You use that cash towards making a payment. At the end of the month, you tell me how much have you utilized for, so that I can make one consolidated entry rather than trying to make everyday Xerox to cash, pencil to cash, coffee to cash. Your accounting book will become like a Hanuman's tale. It does not serve the purpose. It will just overcomplicate, because as per materiality, those 1 rupee, 2 rupees, it's not going to make so much of difference to say 1 rupee you drank more coffee today. I'm not going to invest my money into your company. Not very significant, right? But it's also necessary for me to have a track of what is happening in the company. So generally we follow something called as an impress system. What is this impress system is, what I'll tell my petty cashier is, let's say for a month or for a day or for a week, depending on the size of the company, I'll tell him, you know what, every day, no matter what, my cash balance should be 2,000. What am I giving him an instruction? The cash balance should be how much?
2000.
Today I spent 200 rupees. Today I spent how much? 200 rupees. What will happen is, tomorrow morning, my main cashier will transfer 200 back to the account. To whose account? Petty cashier account. So that we start the balance with same 2000 rupees. Generally we don't do it daily. We generally do it either on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. Yes, madam? So we generally try doing it on a weekly or a monthly basis, where he gives you some money. Let's say for an example, I give you 2000 for a week. You spent 1000 in a week. What will the cashier do next week beginning? He will give you back 1000. Are you clear? Let's say I gave you 2000 for how many days? 7 days. Third day itself, money got over. Third day itself, what happened? Money got over. What will happen? The petty cashier in slow motion will run to the main cashier, ask him that we have utilized money because we had more guests on that particular day. We had to take more Xerox because that particular department asked me to do it. Therefore, please approve and release the cash immediately, because from tomorrow I don't have money for payment. So impress system, if you look into it, there were two cases which I dealt with. Case 1, the money what I spent was lesser than the given amount. So every time the cashier was reimbursing it. In second case, before the period got over, before what? The period got over, the petty cash got over. So what are you going to do? You're going to place a request for raising that additional money and then continue with the same. Are you clear? This system of cash keeping on petty cash, we call it as impress system. What do we call that as?
Impress.
Do you have a definition? The answer is no. Can you write in own words? The answer is yes. How do you write it? Under impress cash system, the cashier or the petty cashier always maintains a uniform balance. Always maintains what? Uniform balance. Whenever there are expenses, at the end of the period, the petty cashier, the main cashier will reimburse all the expenses to maintain the original balance. Understood? Scientist? So see here, a few things which you need to understand. Whatever I've told, this is required for your audit purpose later. See here, the amount Fixed for petty cash should be sufficiently for likely small payments for a relatively short period, say for a week or a fortnight. Second one, the reimbursement should be made only when the petty cashier prepares a statement showing payment supported by vouchers. Third one, voucher should be filed by order. What do you mean by voucher? Is the paper where you give a details of the expenses, right? Last one, no payment should be made without proper authorization. That means your petty cashier should approve all the expenses what is there. Last one, the petty cashier should not be allowed to receive any cash except for reimbursement. Why? Because it will start creating a confusion. I take 100 rupees, put from petty cash to main cash to petty cash. You will know what is happening to your expense. That's why in lot of places or companies I've seen, they would have kept one box just for the namesake of petty cash. And that lady or person or accountant, whoever is holding that cash, he thinks he's Chidambaram, finance minister. Because everyone has to go and get approval from them. Correct, no, madam? They will act, I'm saying the CFO will be there. He will not be bothering much. There is one guy who will have the 2000 rupees in one steel dabba. For everything, he only has to approve. So they will go to him. He's like, why you want? He's like, it's approved. He's like, why? No, today you drank more coffee. I'm not going to give you money. And that too, that guy, especially the office boys and all, they are the ones who interact with them. You should see, they claim, I'm the boss for you. Who are you? Happens, no? No. No. Oh, she's one step up. So we are one step below. So we like doing that chindigiri, asking 5 rupees, 10 rupees, right? So pretty much you can write in your own words what is required. Not very important for your exam. I want you guys to look into what it has been done. It is a very, very simple account where you are just going to maintain a columnar format. There is no debit side, there is no credit side. It's just a columnar format. What it is, we'll look into it one by one. See here. First one is starting the business with a petty cash of how much? 100. Generally, how does your ledger account look? So, see here. Generally, what was my format of all the ledger? I'll write date, particulars, journal folio, amount. Date, particulars, journal folio, amount, right? Whereas in a petty cash, I will not have all of this. Why? Because I'm not going to maintain a separate journal folio or a ledger folio for it. Rather, I'll maintain a simple account. One side, receipts, another side, particulars, and then payments. Done till here. After that, I will have classification of expenses here. You understood? So there won't be separately a debit or credit column. Everything is going to come in which account? Particulars account. The moment I write 2, it means it should be, it's a receipt which should be debited. That means it should be coming on this side. The moment I write by, it should be coming on the logic. You know what it is now. Then see here, I'll just give you a couple of examples and then we'll look into it. How do I write? In this heading, right, depending on the classifications you want. Let's say I want a classification of printing and stationery, staff welfare. I want traveling expenses and miscellaneous expenses. These are the 4 categories I want for the company. Depending on how the company wants, you can create more categories. But for me, let's say for my company, these 4 categories are enough. Printing and stationery, traveling expenses, staff welfare and miscellaneous. Printing and stationery, you know what it is. Staff welfare is coffee, tea, biscuits, whatever this my colleagues eat. Traveling is whenever they travel to my client's place or any other place, whatever travel. Anything which I cannot classify under these 4 categories, I put it under the miscellaneous category. It's up to you to define the number of categories. There is no set format. Are you clear? Till here, are you guys clear with it? Now see here, let's say for an example, I spend 500 rupees on stationery. I spend how much on stationery? What do I write? By stationery, I will write in the payments column 500, and also I will write one more time 500 in the stationery column. Are you clear? Let's say I spend 30 rupees on petrol, 20 rupees on food. I spent how much on petrol? 30 rupees on petrol. So I can write by traveling 30, 30, by staff welfare 20, 20. So I'll be writing my amounts on two sides. One in the common payment column. Second one is what? In the specific amount column. Are you clear till here? Till here, do you have any confusion? This chapter questions and all comes once in 4-5 attempts, but the attempt you get is the luckiest attempt. But you know what? The worst part is none of them solve it. They write in whichever format they want, because they would have never focused on it. Their focus would have been partnership, company accounts and final accounts. I think few of you guys would have done your classes earlier, you would have seen. Major focus would always be on final accounts, partnership, and they do almost around 1 month only of these 3 chapters. But still, you will end up doing a mistake because you are a foundation student. Rather, these questions and all, you get one question like this bouncer question, you will get easy to get your 8 marks or 6 marks on it. Till here, are you guys fine? Clear? So now let's just try looking into it. How does it go?
Sir, there is no maximum limit on the petty cash to be debt.
Depends on the company policy, no? There is no standardized way. It's upon your company. Infosys wants 1 lakh petty cash, they can keep 1 lakh. Okay. Now guys, see here. First one. Let's try looking into it. Just let's try seeing how are we doing it. Received, I have how much? I have a receipt of how much? 100. So I told you it's gonna come on my extreme left side, which is see here. I want you guys to see where it is. Yes, I have written it separately, one column, then I have my date. See on the particular side, there is date, and in my theory we read what makes a difference is not my journal folio or other things, it's the voucher number. Voucher number, because let's say for an example, you're drinking coffee roadside. Will you go and ask him, hey, you know what, I want to take a reimbursement, please give me the bill? Rather, what you will do is you will say, I went to client's place, I had a coffee, you'll write a bill that I hate food this much. This the auto guy, he's like, phone pay car, no phone pay, don't get down. Why? Because I won't get an office reimbursement. So all of those things, whichever you do not get a bill on, you always claim it through a voucher. So that's why voucher number becomes important. You always go in as per the serial order. See here, so to cash, for receiving you'll never have a voucher, only for the payments you'll continue to have a voucher. See the second one. Paid bus fare, which date? 2nd January. How much? Oi. 0.5, no? Hey, 50. 0.50, that's what. 50 paise. I don't know, old book, so they are continuing. 50 paise, I don't know from where to where he went. 50 paise. So I can, now you have a way to classify. You either want to put it as traveling and conveyance, or you want to put it as just conveyance. Decide on it. So I am trying to put this category as what? Conveyance itself. So see the solution. I'll write by conveyance, 1 in the total column and 1 in the conveyance column. Easy, right? Next one, cartage 2.50. Do you want to have a separate category for cartage, or do you want to keep it under something else, miscellaneous? To do that, what we will do to make our life simpler, just see in the question how many times cartage is there. 3 times, right? So it's okay. We'll put it under a separate category called cartage. What is cartage? Traveling. Printing. Transportation of goods. Money spent towards transportation of goods. What did you say? Oh, sorry. My mistake. Sorry. Fine. So you can put it under a new category. So how do you write with this? You will write it as what? By cartage, one time in the payments column, one time in the cartage column. Next one, postage and telegrams. Do you have postage and telegram? 2 times postage and telegram. So you can put it as postage and telegram, by postage and telegram into one category. Wages can be put, I think there is no more wages, so you can put it under miscellaneous.
So this bus fare, cartage, Tonga charges, they all, and again bus fare, cartage, they all come under transportation, right? Can all of
No. There is a difference between traveling. There is a difference as transportation. Transportation is for the goods. We don't transport you, right? We transport only the. No. So traveling stands for all those labor and all. Transportation is only for the goods. So cartage, we'll put it under the goods category. Traveling, Tonga charges and all, we'll figure out what category is it. Is it for goods or is it for the employees for that?
all of them will be written separately.
No, you can put it under traveling as another category. See, at the end of the day, it's for me to understand what am I spending my more money on. That's why I said there is no format of it. Even if you want, for your safer reason, you can only put receipts and payments and 3-4 categories. You can just make it. It's if you don't want to break your head so much, you have more patience in your life. Draw every category possible. See here. Let's see how many categories they have done. See here. Conveyance, cartage, stationery, postages, wages, sundries, all the miscellaneous. So that's why I'm saying this petty cash book does not have a format. You can follow whatever is required. Now I'm just coming to the last part of it. See here, I did my payment total. What is my payment total? 60. What does impressed cash system say? How much was my opening balance? So it should be how much? At the end of the accounting period, it should again become 100. So it should be retransferring you guys how much money? 40 rupees, so that it becomes 100. No, you have spent how much? Sorry? 60. So you have a 40 rupees balance. So I should be transferring you guys 60 rupees back to make it 100. Are you guys clear with this? I'm not doing anything of this sort. Just once know it, whatever concept I've taught. Just before going to exam, just listen to this video and just be done with it. Don't waste your time solving questions and other things on this chapter. The balancing figure, what is there? That means you have 40 cash. Your opening balance was how much? 100. So you have to transfer 60 back. It depends. You want to maintain at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. Both are same only. Usually we make it a practice to do it because what happens is petty cashier before he starts the next day generally goes on the previous day and clears off everything. That's a practice followed. On the last day itself, that's a practice generally followed. How do you guys do, madam? Last day or the last day? Monthly. Impressed? Done with this chapter?